Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Adebusola Adegbola. If you're watching me for the very first time, I am a medical doctor and a certified personal nutritionist. And on this channel, we talk about everything weight loss, nutrition, mental wellness. So if you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified every week when I post a video. Happy Mother's Day. Today is a special episode because today I'm hosting my very, very dear friend, Yewande Adekoya, and she would be having a very rich conversation with us today on success system, self-care, and motherhood. Yewande Adekoya is a very good friend of mine, and I've known her for over 7 years. She is a pharmacist and she is a business leader. She currently works at Medfree Pharmaceuticals, and she is a business leader. She is somebody who is a certified wellness coach and a lifestyle coach for mothers. She's a champion for mothers. If you're not following her on Instagram, Mom Care with Yewande, you should do that after watching this episode. Your life will not remain the same. She advocates for mothers all the time, and she's the author of 365 Solution for the Kickers Mom. Listen, without further ado, I'm just going to start by inviting her to talk to us about her journey, how she has grown over the course of 7 years from being a community pharmacist to being a business leader. Trust me, I know that this has been an incredible journey. And I'm privileged to know just 1%, tiny bit, 1% of this journey. And it's going to blow your mind. And I hope that from today's session, you would be able to take away things that will help you set important goals for your life, things that will move the needle, things that you can focus on and be able to live a productive life. So without further ado, Yewande Adekoya, can you share your journey with us?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bosola, for having me. I am so grateful. Thank you, sis, for sharing your platform with me. My name is Yewande Adekoya. I am a woman. I am a mother of one. I am a pharmacist. I am a business leader, healthcare executive. I currently am the head of business and acting MD of Mabry Pharmaceuticals. And it's been a journey, right? I am a self care coach. I'm an advocate for women's, for mothers' empowerment, mothers' wellness, mothers' well being, right? I love to live life and I love to live life intentionally. And I'm so happy to be here today sharing my journey with all the beautiful mothers that will be, connecting with us on this platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. For people who don't know, and I really do not know because growing up, I was in between. Do I want to be a medical doctor or should I do pharmacy? And at some point, I wanted to explore being a pharmacist. And people are so myopic, and I was also very myopic then. That is what am I going to do with my life? Am I just going to be a community pharmacist? But this is something that you've done and you've been able to grow your career outside of being a community pharmacist. Do you want to share a little bit about how you've been able to do that?
All right, so thank you very much. So there are different sectors in pharmacy, in the pharmaceutical sector. You have the community pharmacy sector, you have the manufacturing, you have the sales and marketing, you have the hospital pharmacy, which many people are conversant with, and the community pharmacy. Then, you have the now, thanks to technology, we have the pharma tech, we have the supply chain. It's an evolving system, right?
Hmm,
So,
hmm,
and one could build a career even as a community pharmacist to be a renowned community pharmacist, helping
hmm.
people is just like basically being like a renowned medical doctor. That was all I wanted to become, about 7 years ago. But
Yeah.
life had other plans. To be honest, if you asked me when did you actively start building a career, I've been on this career journey for over a decade. But when did I actively start building a career? It was 6 years ago in 2019. right?
mm,
Or let's say 7 years ago, 2018, 2019. Um, all I needed to do for everywhere I met myself, either as a community pharmacist or as a healthcare executive, now a business leader, is I always ask myself, who do I need to become to be best at what I do? How can I be phenomenal or grand at this thing that I do?
mm,
And that question is my driving force.
mm,
As a woman, as anything in this life, how can I, who do I need to become to be great? Because good is the enemy of great. To be great at this thing, to be to be marvelous, excellent at this thing. And
mm,
as a community pharmacist, I went on Google to ask Google, how can I be a phenomenal pharmacist?
mm.
And Google gave me ideas. Now we have ChatGPT. ChatGPT will gladly. ChatGPT is my AI boyfriend. I go to ChatGPT these days to say hi ChatGPT, how you doing? And he greets me, hello Yewande, how may I help you today? And I ask questions. So, but then
Mm,
8 years ago, it was Google I asked how to be a phenomenal pharmacist, and it gave me ideas on the services we needed to offer, the routines I needed to start applying, the all the innovative ideas that I didn't even know that I didn't know what innovation was called as at then. I didn't even know
mm,
what was innovation. What was it? All I just knew was that I wanted to be the best. And that was about
mm,
8 years ago, right? 7, 8 years ago that I had that idea and I listed them down in my book and I wrote out how I would practice those things.
mm,
Okay, these are all the things I needed to do. What do I need to do weekly? Okay, I'll do this one every day. I'll do this one every week. So from there, that developed into my to-do list at work. What are the things I
mm,
needed to do every day? And our sales doubled in 6 months. The
mm,
customers doubled in 6 months. People would
mm,
refer people, and I became such a force as a community pharmacist that my boss would talk about me. And from there, another thing I did was to put myself out there. I'm
mm.
a believer, a Bible believer, a Christian, a child of God. I believe in Christ. So Bible is my anchor. So I would defer to the Bible that says that a light that is under the bed, they call it bushel, does not do anybody any good.
Any
If you
good.
are good,
Mm,
shout it to the world, especially when you
mm,
are sure of what you are doing.
mm.
Don't
Rema.
don't dim your light. To be honest, if you
Mm,
are great and you don't talk about how great you are, or you don't show that you are great, you don't believe in your greatness, you don't talk about the great things that you do, you are not great.
mm.
Because some people are not great and they are shouting that they are great and people are believing them and they are buying into that flow,
My
right?
goodness.
That is why no matter how great God is, He still wants us to talk about Him to people.
Mm,
Because the more people know how great God that can change the world is, the better it is for Him, right?
mm,
So
mm,
I started this intentional career journey in 2018 to say, how can I be great? And trust me, if I was a
mm,
cleaner, that's what I would have done. How can I
mm,
clean a place properly? For me, it is to be phenomenal at whatsoever my hand finds to do.
mm,
So I practiced this thing from say up no around July 2018 up until sometimes in November or December when my former boss, pharmacist Adekoya, that was the
mm,
MD of the pharmacy I was working, called me into our office and showed me the numbers and said, look at what you've done for us. I wanted to sell
mm,
this pharmacy and you turned it around.
mm,
I didn't believe that we could do what we are doing in this pharmacy.
mm,
And I was doing those things all alone. And I thought it was the norm. I thought that's what people were doing. I didn't even know that I was doing anything great until when I
mm,
started hearing other people, when I go for pharmacist meeting, they complain, and I'm like, okay, so you people are struggling. I thought that this was a norm, you know. And in 2019, I put myself out there on. I was not a social media person. I didn't have an Instagram page until 2019 or 2018.
mm,
So I started talking about. I reintroduced myself on my Facebook as a wellness person, a wellness coach, and also a community pharmacist who will take care of your health for you. And I started talking
mm,
about people's health. I started sharing my stories, how I helped people with infertility, helped people manage their blood pressure with wellness and healthy lifestyle, how I would counsel people, how people were endeared to me. I shared, I'm a storyteller.
mm,
And storytelling is an art that you must learn. You must tell your
mm,
story. You must own your narrative before somebody else owns it for you. And
mm,
I started telling my stories, and people started noticing, and they started reaching out to me and all of that. So that's the thing. I find out what I need to do to become great, and I do it.
mm,
That's another
mm,
thing. I do it. It's discipline is painful, but I do it because I know if I don't do it, I'm going to remain the same. So
mm,
I receive grace, I do it. If I find it so difficult to do, I ask myself, why am I finding it difficult? How can I make it more interesting? How can I make it better? How can I,
mm,
break it? And I still ask questions. I check online. I can't forget my sister was my anchor then, and there was something she told. She said, Google is your best friend, just like ChatGPT
mm.
is our best friend right now.
Yeah.
You know, so and I used to ask Google questions, and from there I started reading books. I started
Mm,
reading books on self development, on growth. I read the book Good to Great. I started reading book on so every day I would read two types of books. I'll read on I'll read there was a book on pharmacy practice, how to
mm,
use naturopathy and also wellness nutrition to solve people's health challenge. So
mm,
and every day 2 hours I must read about diseases and how to solve them, right?
mm,
And
mm.
2 hours, so I used to read for 4 hours every day. I'll read a
4 hours.
self-development. Yes, I miss those
Mm.
times, but now what I do is because of time I listen to audiobooks during my work.
Audiobooks.
You're
Mm,
right. So or podcasts. So I would read for 4 hours, 2 hours, then 2 hours for different areas of my life, right? And I became so great at it. And that's why I said it's not just good that you are great, you must talk about your greatness. It
mm,
was me talking about my greatness that got me noticed by my immediate formal boss, Mrs.
mm,
Abimbola Adebakin,
mm,
who I caught her attention online because I deliberately wrote a story about a training course that I went for, and I tagged her.
mm,
And I started following, and she followed me, and I started following her. And I got to know that she was starting a new venture because she was the force to reckon with in that community pharmacist space,
mm,
right? And I keyed into it. That's another thing, time and chance.
mm,
Sometimes some people will say, "Oh, I'm looking for an opportunity. I don't have something I'm doing now." Da 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 da. Da. And I'm like, "Okay, have you looked at companies that you would like to work and all of that? Have you looked at the skills that you need to fit into that thing? And have you also looked at maybe interning there for free?
mm,
Because whether you like it or not, you are wasting time. The time
mm.
will pass. Why not
Mm.
find a way to sneak yourself inside? One way or the other.
Interesting.
You have to be strategic." So I was strategic.
Right.
So when she started the new venture, I reached out to her to congratulate her. And I
Mm,
referred a friend of mine whose mother owned a community pharmacy, right?
mm,
Okay, yes, you can. Whose friend whose mother had a community pharmacist and was looking for someone to help manage. And I said, okay, I know a woman, she's starting this and this and this. You can probably reach out to her and all. And he was so grateful.
mm.
And when it was when I said, tell her that you are from Wendy.
Strategic. I love
He could
that.
have done. And he said, okay, I will do that. So he mentioned my name. And after he saw her and he said, oh, we are going for the program. I'm so happy. The program is great. Blah, 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 blah. And I said, great. So did you mention me? He said, oh, yes, I mentioned you. And I reached out to her. I said, ah, well done. I referred my friend. Say, oh wow, great. Thank you. Please, I need help with the work. I would like to work with you. I'm like,
Wow.
okay, that's good. Great. Thank you. So I was like, okay, I'm happy to help in any capacity. And to be honest, I did not know. So at that time that I was talking to her, I wanted to work in another renowned community pharmacist, one of the biggest renowned community pharmacists in Nigeria. That I had even started talking to a senior colleague of mine that if you know somebody in this business or in this company, please refer me and all of that. And she was already saying she'll put word out for me because I already knew I had outgrown where I was.
Yes.
That's another thing. You must know when you have outgrown where you are.
Mm,
So, you know, and she said I should come and meet her at a mall, Maryland Mall in Lagos. And I went there and we spoke here and there. And she said, what are your plans? I thought that she honestly just wanted me to be like an athlete marketer, just talk about what she's doing, refer people, and I was very happy to do that.
yeah.
So I said, "Oh, I'm going to get a job end of the year." That was sometimes in October or so, yeah, September or
Mm,
October. And I already told my boss that I was going to leave her by December. I already told my
mm.
boss that use me this year, right?
You get 1 year notice. How
Yes, I did.
magnanimous of you.
I did. I told her that, Madam, I'm around. Use me very well, right? Because she also knew that I
You
had
would leave.
exploded. So, and she said, "No, why? Come and work for me. Why are you looking for a job? You have a job with me." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "How much do you want to earn?" I told her what I wanted to earn, which was, I think, I was double of what I was earning in my former place. And she said, okay, no problem. She shared the vision with me. She said I should go and think about the vision and come back to her. I went back to her. She said, you know what? You have great potential. But if I put you where I want to put you now,
Mm,
you will flounder.
mm,
Start on this level. And
mm,
when the time is right, I'll put you there. I said, no problem.
mm,
As long as it's not affect my pay. but, but I was so grateful for that guy because I told her that I I didn't want something to take me away from community pharmacists. And she said, "Oh no, you will be
mm.
working with community pharmacists. You will do. You'll be managing." So I realized I was going to be managing 10 branches of pharmacies.
10 branches from one
I was
community
not even
pharmacy
managing
to
one.
10.
No, I was not managing one. I was a community pharmacist who was doing strategy, sales,
Yes.
customer management,
Yeah.
basically. I was not
Mm,
doing things like inventory management, procurement,
mm.
finance. My own was let me make sales, make customer happy,
Yeah.
and marketing, you know,
Mm,
business development. But I didn't know that those were the things I was doing then. Now that I'm in the business, I knew that those strategies were actually what I was doing. I used to have strategy book for the work. So I started learning the meaning of strategy and all. So I started managing. So I moved to managing 10. And I entered and I realized this is not community pharmacy. This management. What's going on here? What's my business that a pharmacy? I thought I'll be training people and doing aspire to perspire.
mm.
What's my business that there's no fuel in the gen of the pharmacies I'm managing? What's my business that the roof fell down in one place? Or landlord was calling me. I'm like, what? This woman has scammed me. But I didn't know that that was a setup for success. That was when then it dawned on me to say, Yewande, this is where you are now. This
Mm.
is your new reality. You
Yeah.
are a manager of this
Yes.
pharmacy. You need to own it. You need to, okay. So the question now became, how do I better my work, my
Yeah.
processes, because it was like we started this thing with nothing.
Mm.
When I was leaving, I can't forget my colleague that we started together, Maya, who is this chief growth officer at my former place. And he says, we built this place with sweat and blood. I can't forget, we built it together. And I realized I needed to own it. That's another thing.
Mm.
I am an entrepreneur. I don't
Mm.
wait. I've never had a job description in the last 7 years. I
Mm.
don't work with job description. I work with visions. What's your
Mm.
vision? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? I work with the vision of the ones that have employed me. And
Mm.
I'm like, okay, what do we want to achieve here? And how do I achieve it? How can I be great at it? And in six
Mm.
months, I was promoted to become operations manager, managing 50 branches of pharmacy.
Wow.
So I had people like me that started managing 10. We used to call them cluster one. I was managing cluster one in Lagos.
Mm.
I had about six of them reporting to me, because our then operations manager now, was moved to another department to head a new department. So I was promoted. And from there,
Mm.
I became the general manager. Then I became the vice president for about 3 years, almost 3 years, over 2 years, close to 3 years, from 2022 February to September 2024
Mm.
till I left. So I became a vice president. I was going to become the CEO of Market Access
Mm.
before I got another call from my current boss. What happened? I knew that I had outgrown the role that I was in. It was time for me, not just the role, but the industry. It was time
Mm.
for me to widen my scope. I knew that I needed more. I needed more exposure. I needed something different.
Mm.
And as usual, I didn't used to apply. It's just, I had met my current boss on a at a program. I went to present, and she reached out to me to say, "Oh, I really like your presentation. She would like to partner and all of that with us." Well, she came to my company for consultancy, and she needed help, and I referred a friend to her who referred me. And, I think I've told you that story. Who went on
Yeah.
to refer me as the COO, and this the rest they say there is history, but I was megally celebrated from my former place of work. I'm so grateful
Yes.
for that opportunity. So what's been the crux of everything I've said? First
Mm.
is, at every point, I'm like, who do I need to become?
Mm.
What do I need to do? How do I go about it? What do I need to become to be great at this? What
Mm.
do I need to do to ensure this is great,
Mm.
grander than whatever anybody would come and do?
Okay.
And I do it in such
Mm.
a way that I learn from people around me. If I see you are doing something
Mm.
fantastic, I adopt it. If I read about
Mm.
something, I implement it. If I hear
Mm.
about something, I can't forget when I started as a business manager in AHA, managing those temporary. I didn't know what an MOU was. I didn't know the meaning
Mm.
of an MOU. I remember when the people are saying, "Have you signed the MOU?" And I'm like, I think I had to send a message to my friend Oyinda. Like, she's one of the closest people to me, to say, "Oyinda, please, what's the meaning of MOU?" She was my colleague then, and she said memorandum of understanding. I'm like, what? I didn't know what an ND, all those things, all those things. Those my business. I didn't know them. A concept note, a work plan, all those things. All I knew was I had a journal and my biro, and I could come up with plans, write,
Yeah.
type. I didn't even know
Yeah.
how to use a computer properly when I joined, my former company 5 years ago. But I asked
And
myself, I
your
used to
journey has really been interesting. And what I'm taking away from everything you've said is just to be able to ask yourself at every phase you are. And I'm very happy that you mentioned that if I were a cleaner, that's what I would do. What do I
yeah,
need to do to be great as a cleaner? What do I need to do to be phenomenal as a cleaner? And be doing all of that and celebrating yourself megally. And also, I picked on referral, how big referral can be in one's
Yeah.
journey. And I know that today we are celebrating Mother's Day, we are, celebrating women, and we support women a lot. And beyond the cliche of women supporting women, being
Yeah.
able to refer people, and it just comes back to you one way or the other. It comes
Yes.
back to you. And it's just been so amazing to see your journey from being a community pharmacist, which is a pharmacist that wear the white coat in a pharmacy and say, "What do you need? I want a PCM." Or I've been having headache. My blood pressure is up. Can you do my blood pressure? To moving to managing 10 pharmacists to 50 pharmacists to where you are today. Amazing. And you've talked about reading, which is something that is 4 hours a day. My goodness. Let's look at how we can design our year and have the best year, because I'm sure some moms are listening to us right now and they're like, what the heck? Where am I going to get 4 hours a day to be reading?
Doesn't
Read
have to
about
be
my
4 hours. I
career.
don't have 4 hours anymore. I don't have 4 hours anymore because the demand then part of my growth process to get me
Mm,
to that level was to read for 4 hours. Right.
mm,
These days is
yeah,
maybe I can't even I don't I can't remember the last time I really read a paper book,
paper
right?
book.
Or a book. But I know that one thing is sure: you cannot succeed without the right information. You need to
True.
constantly enlarge and empower your mind with the information. So I
Absolutely.
leverage on YouTube, I leverage on audiobooks, podcasts. That's how I'm able to get by the information.
And we have Chat GPT now. I mean,
Oh yes,
I'm trying to be, a phenomenal psychiatrist. So after this
please,
session, I'm going
ah,
to type into Chat GPT and say, Chat
please do.
GPT, how can I be a phenomenal psychiatrist? Oh my goodness. How can I
Yes,
be a great psychiatrist? This is
yes.
eye-opening, honestly. Let's
ChatGPT
look
is
at
going to tell you what you would do on a daily, weekly. You can even go on to what can I do daily? How can I manage my patients? Ask, and you shall receive
wow,
information. I'm telling you.
daily. I feel like
Yes.
you're already even answering my next question, which is, how do, as a mother, how do we design a great year? This is March, and I know that a lot of us had New Year resolutions in January. A lot of things that we plan to achieve, we've not even started, let alone achieve those things. And March is over. How do we design a great year? With everything going on in our lives, with our career, our businesses, and being a mother, having families, having other religion, social responsibilities, so many things going around. How do we have a great year and be able to really progress in our life, in our career, just like the way you have, which is so inspiring and so beautiful to see. There's this term that we use, that we are here for it. And I just want people that are I just want people listening to us today, and they're in one phase of their career. How do we design a great year amidst all the things going on?
All right. Number one thing I would like people to know is the power of consistency.
Mm,
Consistency in small things. Most of the time, when we hear messages like this or stories like this, we want to, hi, you are reading for 4 hours. Let me start reading for 4 hours. But we ignore the power of reading for 30 minutes. So
kabaya.
the foundation is very important. Consistently taking actions, no matter how small. One of the things I told myself, because when I changed my job, my wellness life had been in a state of crinkle crankle. In the
Mm,
last 1 year, it's been a struggle to live healthy. My exercise before, it was sacrosanct. I hardly miss a week of exercise, but weeks has turned to months in the last one
mm,
year. And I told myself, starting from last month, I'll take it slow, no matter what. A walk every day, let me do it for a bit, then I'll start my strength training, you know, the power of consistency. in the seemingly small things, foundational
mm,
thoughts. Number two is you need to identify the different areas of your life that are most important to you.
mm,
And you need to say, I am a woman. How do I better my relationship with myself, my relationship with God? How do I expand my mind?
mm,
Who do you want to become as a woman? I think that's the first question I ask myself. So for me, it's about asking the right questions that will now help me find information that will get me better. So the question is, who do I want to, what kind of woman do I want to be? Who do I want to become? What kind of mother do I want to be? And sometimes you might not even know. So you can even ask ChatGPT. Now that we have ChatGPT, I used to ask Google, what are the different kind of mothers in this world? And you will see they will
mm,
give you different types of, and you can now choose the one that you feel like, yes, this aligns with me. Avoidant
mm,
mother, present mother, intentional mother, fearful mother, traumatized
mm,
mother, this one mother, abusive mother. You will see everything. And you now ask yourself, what kind of mother do I want to be? Right? What kind of partner do I want to be to my spouse or to my partner?
mm,
Do I want to be you? Like I say, you can also ask it to show you different based on
mm,
research, different types of partners, right?
mm,
If you are a businesswoman, what kind of businesswoman do I want to be? What kind of business do I want to build? Do I just want to trade, karakata, buying and
mm,
selling, or do I want to build? See, it is what resonates with you. That's another foundational truth you need to know. What drives you might not be what drives me. Some women just want to be an intentional homemaker. They
mm,
just want to take care of their own. That's their dream. And it's great. I always tell mothers, it is valid. Don't say your life is not valid or your dreams or your desires because you feel like, this person is. No. See, your greatness is defined by you, it's not defined by anybody.
mm,
So, what kind of business do I want to build? What kind of career do I want to build? What
mm.
I know that anybody should never be is to be a mediocre.
Mm.
Whatever you have
My
chosen
God.
to do, push yourself to be great at it. If all you want to be is to be a homemaker, be the best homemaker that you can be. Not in
Mm,
comparison to anybody, but that you can be. So that by the time you ask yourself, I have given and I am constant, not giving in terms of you are giving your all without giving back. Like I am, I am improving. It's a journey of
mm,
excellence. God does not like mediocrity. That's why he
mm,
says that if you are not cold, if you are not, I'll spit you out. Whether you are cold or you are, don't be neither here or there.
mm,
But whatever you want to be best at it. That's why I said, even if I was a cleaner, they will be referring to me as the cleaner,
mm.
right?
The
So
one and only.
I'm telling you. So what kind of career person or what kind of career do I want to build for myself? What kind of family member or relative daughter do I want to be? The thing, if you are not close to your family members, then there's no point in you putting it. For me, my family is my mom, my sister, my brother, and my
Mm,
brother's wife, my sister's
mm,
husband, and her children. So those are
mm,
my priorities. Those are people I focus on. My friends are very important to me. That's why once in a while you see you, because you're on my to-do list. I pop in and say hello, sis, how are you? Even if it's once in a quarter, because my alarm has reminded me.
mm,
So what kind of friend? What kind of what are the things that are important to you?
mm,
You must ask yourself, how can I be great at these things? And who do I need to become great at this thing? And what are the things I need to do? So when you identify these things that you need to do, you now segment them. What are the things I need to do daily? What are the things I need to do monthly? What are the things I need to do yearly? Who do I need? That will now lead you to what do I need to achieve them? Do I
mm,
need more money? How do I get the money? Right? How
mm,
do I be a financially stable and secured woman? You know, so you now ask yourself, what are the tools? That's when you now realize, what are the things that I need to delegate? What are the things I need to do by myself and all of that? I think we're going to talk about that later. But
mm,
this is the way to plan a great year intentionally. You are not just planning a great year by drawing things from, because your friend bought a Bentley, me too. This year, my goal is to buy a Bentley. You might even be surprised that Bentley is actually not important to you.
yeah.
Or because your best friend just had a baby, you want to have a baby, or because
Mm,
somebody had three children, you you might not even want that child, and you go on
mm,
to have something you are not prepared for.
mm,
You know, you need to sit with yourself. It's mentally demanding, right? It's the best, it's the most work that you do, because when you now start executing, it's easy peasy. It's like telling yourself, go and bring that bucket from where it is down. But you see, the mental work of determining what do I need to do to now
mm,
identify that I need to go and get the bucket from the backyard is the real
mm,
work. That's why you see
true.
that the people that are strategists earn more than people that are executors. Because once you have clarity, everything is clear. Do you understand? So you need to
Yeah.
identify these things, who you want to be, what you want to become, and the things you need to do, the things that you need to become and achieve those things. And you now, you know, compartmentalize them into your routine. That is what will
Mm,
now form your routine, your to-do list, and all of those things that you
yeah.
now say you have a plan for the
Mm,
year. That's
yeah.
why I mentioned consistency, because now the act of following through with that plan, even if it is
Mm,
by 60 or 70, even if it is by 50%, that is
mm,
those actions that were defined by your goals that you incorporated into your routine.
mm,
Even if you follow it by 50, you will not remain the same again.
mm,
You will not be the same person that just jumps at things or not doing anything,
mm,
because that is actually what is they call living an intentional life. I always
right.
even tell people it's better to have a plan than not to have at all, because when you wake up to say you want to execute that plan, you have something to go to.
True.
So
True.
that is what has worked for me, to
Mm,
say that I live an intentional life. So when someone asks me what's your greatest ambition in life, I tell them is to follow my to-do list. That's it. That's my greatest achievement. Because you see, my
oh
to-do
my
list com- it consists of the things that I would do to make my life and the life of the people, of the things and the people that I love great. So that's it.
God. Yeah. And I can testify that you're very, very big on to-do lists. I mean, I don't know if you have to move away from where you are currently living, you one day, I don't know how you are going to pack all your journals
They are
because
here.
they are so valuable.
They are here. I have like 5 boxes of them. I'm telling you.
They
I
are
have
so
different journals
valuable.
for different things.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how what you're gonna do with all of those journals. And you're very
Right.
practical and you use biro and paper. I don't know. Have you gone digital now? Or you're still using biro and
I think
paper?
that I'll say I'm hybrid. I do both.
Okay.
I have this
Okay.
WhatsApp, the way you can send message on WhatsApp to yourself. So I do that. I
Yes.
have the notes. Then I use a scheduler, right, online.
Yeah.
Even though I have not been clicking on it, right, because I have the things that you constantly reminds me of: drink water, call this person, check on your son, all those things, right? So it reminds me, and I'm able to, and some of these my routines, they've now become an aspect of me, right? Even
Yeah.
my nanny, so I use a spreadsheet. So you see that old management stuff is part of, instead
Yes.
of just using paper. So I'm able to change it. So that's what I teach my nannies how to use it. So
Excel.
that's where they follow their to-do list, right? So
Mm.
I'll say I'm hybrid. I can't do without using paper and biro.
Guys, if you're still watching, I want you to share in the comment section where you're watching from and what you've learned from our conversation so far. We are going to go into the practicality of systems now. But if you are here, you're still watching, just let me know where you're watching from and what you've learned from the conversation so far. And I'm going to be in the comment section to respond to your comment, okay? Let's go into system now. You've talked about Excel, you've talked about having a nanny, because we want to get into the system because I don't know how people are able to balance. And honestly, I think that this balance is really a facade, because I have always had to struggle with balance in my life. At every point in time where there's a shift in the goals in my life, something just drop. So how do we create systems? Because I need systems in my life, and you're a genius when it comes to system. How do we create system to be able to do all of these things? And I know that discipline is key, and we should be able to discipline ourselves to get things done. But how do we have system that makes it easier for us to do all of these things? Do you kind of like have a framework that you can share with us regarding system?
Okay, great. Um, First, I'll say balance is a myth. And the reason I say balance is a myth is because balance is not the same for everybody. If people think
Mm,
that balance is you having time for this, like cutting yourself in 100 places, you know, in 24 hours, and all of those things is a lie.
mm,
There are different balls that we juggle. There are glass balls, there are plastic balls. There are plastic balls that you can let fall, it will not break, but you can't let drop some glass balls. And if you are going to let some
mm,
glass balls drop, you need to let them drop gently. And I'll give you a very good instance. A very good instance is showing up for my child in school as the major present parent, right? I'm a
mm,
single mom. And this week, let me give you a very recent this thing. My son have been have been too busy. This in the
mm,
last 6 months, I can't count the number of times that I'll come back from work, I'll crash on the couch, I'll not remove my clothes. A day to my birthday, I slept with my clothes. I woke up the next day with the same clothes I started working. That's how
mm,
bad. And anybody that knows me knows that I am a morning person. I need to meditate, work, prepare, do my body care before I say I want to work. But no, no, no. I can't count the number of times that, in fact, there were weeks that that was not my routine. Even now, I'm struggling to get back into my routine, right?
mm,
So, but last week, my son woke me up in the morning to say that, oh, Mommy, I would like you to come to our school on Thursday because this was World Book Day, something. So we needed to dress them up like a book character, then,
mm,
tell them and all of those things. So they said some mothers should come to read books that they like, some parents. So I
mm,
said I would try, but I'm not promising and all of that. But I knew you really wanted me to be there. So what did I do? We found the story of the character it was going to be. I dressed him up like that. And I said, you know what? Let me read the story to you. I read the story to him. I explained the story to him. I told him. So we did like a dress rehearsal. That got
mm,
him very excited. And I said, you see that I've done dress rehearsal for you. I got back from a trip that I think I got back from Edo State that day, or maybe Abuja, I can't remember. Because sometimes I can do like 3 travels in a week. So, but I got back from Edo State that day, that night, and I had to do all of those things for him and say, "You might not see me tomorrow, but I'm cheering you up and I'm sending your auntie." Right? So that was a very delicate glass ball because one of my greatest fear is I do not ever want my son to think that he's not important to me and the things that are important to him are not important to me. It's very
mm,
important that children know that they can count on you. So I had to let him realize that even though I'm not there, you have prepared you for the day. I've managed his expectations. One of the things I also do is to say, I can't put you to bed every night because there are days I have to work late. But you see, I promise you, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are the days I'll come early to put you to bed. I've managed his expectations. So he knows
mm,
the days that I would not be available. When I'm going to stay out late, he knows the days that I work late. So, what am I saying? Some people would think balance is putting your son to bed every night.
mm,
Some people would think balance is showing up in your son's school every time they call you. I show up at
mm,
least 90% of the time, but most of the time I show up late because I'm coming
mm,
from work, I'm coming from a meeting. Sometimes I mean, my balance is I'm there, I'm cheering my son up, and I'm also doing meeting online, Zoom meeting,
mm,
running into a corner and saying, Yes, I can see your screen. Okay, yes, oh, yes. I'm telling you, that's balance sometimes, right? So balance is different from for it's not something we can let an outsider decide for us. And that's why
mm,
I think that the societal view of balance is a myth. But what I believe is integration,
mm,
intentionality, building a systems that work for you, right? And what
mm,
do I mean? When you have decided all these questions that I've mentioned and you've decided this is our routine, you need to now ask yourself, what are the things that are integral that you must do? It's like it's sacrosanct. They are sacred. You have to do, right? That you, for whatsoever reason, this thing, this thing is something that it's the heart and soul of this aspect of my life. For me, is my morning pep talk with my son. That 30 minutes before school bus comes, we pray together, we take our affirmations together. I play songs. Sometimes they tell me to play songs for him. I play, gospel songs for him. I'm able to tell him who he is to his face and all of those things. Those mornings, even when I'm not around, maybe I've traveled, he calls me to say, Mommy, let's pray, Mommy, let's talk, to tell me and all of those things. So those things are sacrosanct. Number two is I have to be the one to design the meal plan of my family, right? Number three
mhm,
is I check on my son's teacher to check on his performance every
mm,
other at least once or twice in a month.
mm,
And one of the things I've incorporated now is 1 hour every weekend at least. I must go through his mathematics with him because I feel he needs more attention with his mathematics. Right?
mm,
So these things are things that I am building to say these are things I am not going to delegate.
mm,
So you must identify the things that you have to do by yourself as a
mm,
woman, for yourself, as a mother, as a partner, even as a business leader. You must know the things that there are some things that I must do. I have to make some certain decisions that I cannot outsource.
mm,
And there are some things I must oversee in my house. Oversee what have you packed. I don't oversee my son's the way they bathe him and all of those things. But when is on weekends, I check his body. I'm able to know that you are not bathing him very well. I'm able to smell his mouth. You know, weekends when it comes to hug me and all of that. So I also see the things I need to oversee to say, even though somebody else is doing it for me, I must oversee it,
mm,
right? That's why I have templates for my nanny. I have the template, what they will do from when they wake up to when my son sleeps is there, right? The time they will wake up, the things they will
mm.
do, the hours they will do it, I list it. 90% of what they will do is there. So
Yeah.
I don't hold them accountable if they forget. My current nanny, I realized she kept forgetting things, and I'm like, why are you forgetting things when it's already listed?
mm,
And I told her, if you forget, it's because you are not checking. You are being lazy
mm,
to check. If you do this again, for every time you miss something, I'm going to penalize you. You pay a fine. I just told her,
mm,
because I don't like shouting. You pay a fine. It's like work. You miss something, you pay for it. After 3 strike, and when I see that you are paying fine too much because I don't want a nuisance in my life, in my home, you will not be happy. I'll tell you to go. Right? So what am I saying? I built those processes. My goals, the questions I asked myself became my goals. My
mm,
goals, I was able to break them down into actions that will help me achieve those goals. Those
mm,
actions, I now built them into routines. And
mm,
after I built them into, and what I mean by routines is, what are the things that you have to do with your child daily? I have to do as a woman daily. I have to do as a business leader daily. There are some meetings I should actually have daily, even if it is just 2 hours of my work day as a business leader. Meet with finance every day. Guess what? I have not been doing them, and it's showing.
mm,
I've not been doing them in the last 4 weeks, and it is showing. Why? Because I've been busy with sales and marketing activity. But you see, there are some things that are just sacrosanct. You
mm,
must pay attention to them, because those routines, even if you don't do them 100%, at least do them by 60, 70%. It will
mm.
show. If you don't do them at all, you will see it. It's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So is you can't cheat it. So when I see that I'm cheating a process, I know it will come back to me. And on as in it comes back, and I'm like, it's because I didn't do like this. If you notice, the world is built on principles.
Mm,
God is the God of principles that made the world. So you can't cheat some principles. Even if you try to cheat it, maybe it's your 10th generation that will pay for it. You don't
yeah.
know. So it's
You're
there,
right.
right? So I built the routines. Then the routines determine how I spend my day, how I
Mm-hmm.
spend my time. So that's why you see that my greatest goal in life is my to-do list. Because when
Mm,
I'm doing those things, I feel grounded. I feel
yes.
solid. I feel like I am living and not just existing, because
Mm,
everywhere I spend my time, at least by 70%, is
mm,
intentional.
true.
So you will see
True.
my alarm remind me it's time to sleep, even if I don't follow it. But the fact that I know I'm supposed to do something, even if I'm not, it gives me a sense of yes. My life is not just,
Absolutely.
some people, you just wake up. It's when you wake up. When you wake up, you're just guru, 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 guru. So systems. So there are some things. And the next thing is, in that your routines, what are the things that you have to delegate?
Mm,
Some of you don't have date nights with your partner. You have to be intentional. If I always tell women, schedule sex,
mm.
schedule it. It's better that you say, at least worst case scenario, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I must have sex
Worst
with my
case
partner.
scenario. Mm,
Do you understand? It cannot be more. Even if it's less, hey, guess what? If you schedule these things, you will realize there is nothing that is built on chance that survives.
mm. Nothing that is built on chance that survives.
So
Mm,
I always tell women, schedule your sex, because it even mentally prepares you that today is sex day. So it will influence or sending messages, wearing something nice, spending the maybe closing early. You will not want to probably stress yourself so much that day, because you know that you have to give Oga show. Do you
mm,
understand? And you probably also, and don't do it alone. Tell your partner, the two of you, so you both know that today is our show day. The
mm.
ambience. So these things are things that keep romance alive.
Yeah,
I always thought, can
absolutely.
you remind yourself to send your wife or your husband love messages every day? Ask ChatGPT. It's better than for you to just is maybe once in 3 years, once in 3 months on their birthday. That's when it just goes on to show that you are thinking
I think
about
I'm
them.
just going to go into ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, how can you be my personal assistant?
I'm
Because
telling you. Yes, that's what some people use ChatGPT for. They use it for their PA. Yes. For me, is my guy. ChatGPT is my guy for anything. I feel it's God's gift to man. AI, right? So, what am I saying? Schedule things.
mm,
Routines is building routines and systems, and knowing the things that you will delegate and the things that you oversee,
mm,
and the things that you completely outsource and make somebody else's livelihood or something, right?
yeah,
Are ways of automating your processes, right?
amazing,
And
amazing.
helping you that even when you are not there, this thing will be done. And if it is
Mm,
not done, you know who to hold responsible for it.
possible.
Whether it's
Mm,
yourself, there are times I know that this one is my responsibility. It's me that fell short. Even at work, it's me. So I take full responsibility for this. If I had done this, this would have happened. You understand? So it's normal. It's really, really
mm,
normal. So for me, this is the way that I have been able, this is my balance. And there are times
mm,
I feel that I am in this phase of my life, I need to drop this.
mm,
This becomes number 5 on my priority list. So if I used to do it weekly before, maybe it's now monthly, I need to start doing it. Or I need to
mm,
shift this thing. Like I deferred my MBA twice because of work.
mm,
And because I know I want to focus on it, I realized that what are my top priorities with this enormous work in front of me? My
mm,
son, my relationship with myself, my son, my job, and my to finish my MBA. So my personal brand, my mom care brand, I had to make an official announcement some weeks ago to say that I'm going on a long break, maybe
mm,
in August or September, or even maybe next year. That's when I will
mm,
come back to it. I don't know, to be honest,
yeah.
right? But I know that when I'm more stable, I told myself maybe August, right? So let's see how it goes. But it's very
Mm,
important to me to finish my MBA before I take that on, because
yeah.
of MBA is time bound. So you also need to
True.
know what is the thing that I have to. Maybe you used to do content every week and you realize that, see, I need to do my content every month. Maybe you need a virtual assistant. One
Mm,
of the things that I
true.
realized, that I needed a virtual assistant who will be posting and engaging on social media. I cannot do it.
Mm,
I cannot. It's even something, number one, it's something I don't like. Then number two, I don't now have time for it as much. So I
true.
had to outsource it. Then she gives me a report. So all I just do is maybe 30 minutes at the end of the day before I go to bed, I just go on my social media, okay, what did she post? What did she write? And all of those things. Or when I get a notification that somebody has posted, I quickly go there, I read, I hope she did not make any typo and all of those things. If I see any issue, or I always tell my friends, please, if you see my post and you see that something is wrong, please tell me immediately. So they are the ones that will tell me, and I'll go, what did you post here? You know, I have just tried to build stuffs
System.
around those things,
Yeah.
right? That
And I think
helps
it makes a lot of
you.
sense because from what you're
Like,
saying that your greatest goal in life is your to-do list. I'm sure that Instagram and TikTok is not on your to-do list. So you're able to minimize distraction. Or do you have like 30 minutes for social media? Do you cross that
it's
with
not
your to-do
very
list for the day?
important. The only reason why I do it is because of my brand. It's not like I
Yeah.
don't do it, but it's something that if I don't do in 2 days, nothing will spoil. Nothing will happen. I will not die. Nothing is going to
Mm,
destroy. It's
mm,
not
mm.
compulsory that I do it, but because of my
True.
brand, I need to know what's going on,
Yeah.
because I have a brand online. But now that I am not actively doing anything, sometimes I forget that there's even a social media for 3 days. But and to be honest, when I go there, I'm going there to my DM to check my sister's reels. Like she must have sent me like, oh, please hold on. She must have sent me like 20 reels. So I would just go laugh, send her some reels also, and that's all. I'm telling you. So I spend more time watching movies when I want to relax. I
Yeah. When you
watch
want to
more
be
movies. I have
stressed.
I have series that I follow, right? That relax me. They That's the way I honestly revitalize my mind. So I
Mm,
have to really watch great movies that excite me. So it's like taking cocaine. Sometimes I his addiction, yes, 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 yes. Like because he excites some of
Yeah.
my hormones, right? So
What series, what movie are you watching currently that you
so
can recommend for us?
okay, so me see, I don't know if it's I follow this Lagos housewife, full housewife of Lagos, real housewife of Lagos.
I mean, when you really want to think about nothing and you're just like, I need
Yes,
some distraction.
exactly. And sometimes
I
it just makes you like, why are people like this? Why is this one looking for trouble like this? You know? Then okay, I watched this. I'm a very Nigerian ambassador in entertainment, right? You hardly see me
mm,
follow abroad film like that. But on Showmax, I do this. I've forgotten. Uriri. There is a new series on Showmax. Uriri.
okay.
There is a then I follow one KBA since they do that one every Friday. That Uriri is Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then yeah, those are three. You know, there was a time they were showing Flossom. Flossom was amazing. I can't wait for season three, right?
Really?
You know, so I usually look for Showmax. You know,
Mm, okay.
I
And we've
usually
been
look.
having a very long conversation, and I just want us to, begin to wrap up and look at smart strategies to incorporate self care into our daily routine. And you've mentioned that given your current schedule, it's been kind of tricky for you to be able to do that. And one thing I love about you is that in every phase of your life, you are very honest and you take accountability of what's going on. I know that you're not going to come here and start saying, oh, I do all the self care, even though that's not what's going on. And that's
Yeah,
one of the reasons why you're one of my closest friends. But and I know that your life has gone through phases. Even when you were talking about your son, I know that there was a time you didn't have a nanny and you still had some
yeah,
systems in place, because I know that
yeah,
some people that will be watching are in diaspora like me. And my pace of having a nanny has switched from to a phase of no nanny and
yes,
having to do things myself. So understanding times and season and being
very
able
important.
to, but what I've taken away from all our conversation today is that the core principle will not change. So even if you're still seeking for information, that how do I be phenomenal, how do I be great in this current phase that I am, you will still
Yes,
find answers and you will
yes,
still be able to navigate that time
yes,
and season. But,
exactly,
just
exactly.
tell us, how do we incorporate self care strategies into our daily
Oh,
routine?
great. So one of the things I want to quickly address is yes, for people that don't have nannies, one of the things that will help you is time blocking, right? And you have do your routines. When I saw the routine of my son, right, I
Mm,
realized that my busy time with my son are early in the morning from 5 to 7 when he goes to school, and from
mm,
6 o'clock because I put him in after school, right? So
mm,
that it could give me more time for work. So from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock that he goes to bed. So just 4 hours actually, or let's say actively 5 hours out of 24 hours, right?
mm,
So you still have, so I realized I still have like 7:30 till 5 o'clock for myself and my work. So what that means was that in the morning I put all the this thing, and you see, there's a full timetable. I have prepared, I've done some meal prep, there's a base that I do. So everything that I cook for myself, for himself, and all of those things, sometimes in a day, it's just less than 1 hour, right?
mm,
From 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock to getting ready for school. That those are so it helps me to prepare my mind to say, okay,
mm,
my busiest hours are 5 to 7. Those are not my easiest hours. So when he goes to school, I give myself another 1 hour to rest. Then I go to work out, right? So I know that I can't resume work until maybe like 10 or 9:30, right? And
mm,
I have to close by 5. And when I close by 5, I pick him, I rest. That time we use it to bond, he eats, I put him to bed, and I sleep also. So sometimes I sleep early. Those times I get to sleep early and I wake up in the middle of the night sharp. So when I sleep like maybe like 8, I'm able to wake up maybe like 2 or 3, right? To walk till,
mm.
so it's usually like, and I also try to prioritize sleep. Number one, in fact, the self-care that I'm really trying to prioritize is sleep now. At least let me sleep.
See,
I know we're supposed to sleep for 8 hours, but I don't think right now I can achieve that yet. But at least I try to say, let me sleep for 6 hours. Let me sleep
mm,
for 7 hours, right? That's
mm,
number one. Number two is I try to walk. I'm talking of my normal self-care routine is I wake up early, I meditate, right? I set an alarm to remind me to drink water, and as much as possible, I drink water. That's another weakness. Sleep and water are the weaknesses I have, right?
mm,
So I have to be very deliberate about it. I practice my
mm,
body care. I do my affirmation. I journal, right? I, I stretch. I exercise. So these are things that I do, right? I pay attention to mindfulness, taking deep breaths during the day, and ensuring that I surround myself with things that would relax me and all of that. I try to practice self-awareness. So these are my
mm,
self-care, this is my normal self-care routines, the things I do,
mm.
my meal
Yeah.
plans and all. But right now, what do I find practical with my crazy busy life? Right? I know I can't read for 4 hours or 2 hours every day anymore. Hello, sis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I just made you solo because I realized that I've not made you solo all day long.
Oh, okay, great. So, you know, so one of the things I do is to, prioritize sleep. And what that means is that I'm able to block my time to say, see, no matter what, I should be in bed by 11, right?
Mm,
I try to do exercise, even if it is walk 30 minutes every day, but I try to do 1 hour every day, right? I still follow my drink water alarm. I take supplements. Currently I'm using the one you prescribed for me, inositol,
mm,
probiotics, vitamin D, because I'm
mm.
over 30. I'm in my over my mid 30s, right? So I'm closer to 40. I'm 36. So I
Yeah.
take evening primers. I take biloba for my brain, my mind to be sharp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I take melatonin when I'm very tired and I need to sleep and wake up with
Please.
energy. And what else? What else? Yeah, and magnesium, magnesium. So I take things
Yeah.
for my hormones, my body as a woman, for my bones, for my heart. Basically those are five supplements. Then I take tea a lot. I take because I also I'm managing PCOS, so I have a cinnamon tea that helps me reduce my blood insulin resistance. I with apple cider. So I every day. So they do like we call it iced tea. So they
Mm-hmm.
boil the tea, put honey and apple
Mm-hmm.
cider and freeze it. So I am able to drink it all day. So I have a water bottle.
Yeah.
So you see me. This is my water bottle. So they put the iced tea there, and I'm able to
Mm,
drink it. Aside from my insulin resistance, what they call it, tea that I drink. So these are things I do. I listen to meditation sounds. I try to meditate. I try to journal, and I
yeah.
pray. And most importantly, I surround myself with positive words, a lot,
Mm,
positivity, positive energy, positive people. I speak life into myself. So when I'm working, there are two things I try to do, or three things. I try to get myself excited. I find a song that I'm emotionally attached to that day. I listen to a podcast or an audio book, a part of an audio. Right now, I'm listening to a book on leadership by John C. Maxwell.
mm,
So every day I try to do like 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes when I'm not able to do it during my work, I do it when I'm having my bath. So there are some
mm,
things that you can multitask. You are having your
mm.
bath, you can be listening to an audio book.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like rather than wasting time when I'm rearranging my clothes, let me be watching a movie rather than sit down and watch the movie all day, right? After this call now, I'll go and pack my bag because I'm traveling tomorrow to Port Harcourt. So I
Mm,
am going to pack my bag and I am going to finish the series I'm watching on social media. I'll be on Prime Video, sorry.
mm,
So I do that. I am able to listen to audiobook during my work or a very nice music. I can listen to one music for 3 days if that music resonates with my energy. And
mm,
I also try to use that period to pray and to connect with God, connect with myself, speak words of affirmation, positive words into my life, right?
mm,
So that period also gives me clear thoughts. I'm able to
Mm.
think, I'm able to, So these are things I do. Have I been 100% consistent? No. So instead of saying I must do work every day, I say at least 3 times a week, right?
3 times a week.
I will be very grateful if it is 4 times. So this week I did 4 times. I was so happy. So, but at least let me do three. If I don't do 3 times, I feel I should have done it. Because before it was I want to lose weight, but now I just want to be strong. I just want to be healthier, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things, self-care practices that I incorporate into myself, to keep
Amazing.
me
And I
going.
think that it also speaks to who you are as a person, who you want to be, and what your goals are. And it goes back to what you've already shared that,
Mm,
knowing yourself, knowing what you want to achieve, would also play a big role in what every individual or every mother out there would
yeah.
consider self-care. But it's just been so amazing that you've not really said anything, Genge. You didn't say going to the spa, having a massage, fixing your
Oh,
nails,
that's
getting bones straight,
well, I like
which is all
fashion.
true.
I like fashion, but that's not self care. That's part of taking care of yourself.
Exactly.
Oh yes, I do shopping therapy. So one of the things is that I so financial wellness is also something. I practice financial wellness, right?
Mm,
And what do I mean by that is I have a budget. I just don't spend money anyhow. So in my budget, I have what goes to bills, and I have my bills, electricity. This one, I have what goes to my short-term savings, like my son's school fees, house rent. Well, my son's birthday in December, I start saving for it from January. So when you
mm,
see me throw small birthday, whatever I do for my son December is not November or October. I start looking for the money or something.
mm,
It's so this is I know what are the things I want to do with money, and what
mm,
are in part of my income. I have a money manager, so a part of my finance goes to he helps me to invest in
mm,
stocks and all of those things for long term investment, 5-10 years, right?
mm,
So, but I pay myself salary out of my salary. So
mm,
a certain percentage, which is about 10% of my salary. And that money is what I use because I've paid all my bills. That money just keep money for hand. So I fix my nails. I try to do now is even time. So I fix my nails, I do my lashes. I like to look, those are things I do for myself to look good, right? I buy my skincare products. I have skincare products because the stress that is stressing me, I need to spend some money on spend, but it still has to be in target with it's true that with my body. Because I started having so much hyperpigmentation on my neck, even till now, I'm
yeah.
still battling it, and I'm
And
spending.
that is not
Yes,
uncommon when you're under an incredible amount of stress, and that's also
yes.
some of the
I
things I
need
tell
some
my
level.
audience when they begin to say that they are gaining weight. I just ask, what has changed in your life? Are you under an incredible
Yes,
amount of stress?
stressing.
So it's not
Yes,
uncommon, and it's so great that you're able
yes.
to identify
Obviously,
that and make provision
I've
for that.
added weight. Yes, I've added weight. All of those things like that. But you know so I try to do that, and I a percentage because I like clothes, so I'm able to apportion a small percentage of my money to clothes. So I have my vendors, so I just buy maybe one, so that I feel great rather than use all my money to buy something. So I'm able to put a system also to control how I spend my
Mm,
money, and to
amazing.
control, you know, my ambition with fashion. So it's part of it, but my real self-care is following my to-do list and my plan.
Exactly. And we've had an amazing conversation. And what I'm
Oh
taking
yes.
away from this conversation is really, asking myself, how can I be phenomenal? How can I be great? How can I be a great mother? How can I be a
Mm,
phenomenal mother? How can I be a great partner? How
yeah.
can I be a phenomenal partner? And make,
Mm.
ChatGPT my researcher, my PA, my reminder. And I'm going to ChatGPT, yeah, died.
Yes, please
Oh my
make use
goodness.
of it. Please do. Please do.
I
These are
so I want
resources
to
that
say
you will
thank you. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me today. I'm definitely going to have you back because I know that by this time next year, you're going to be in another phase in your life and all of these 4 hours of knowledge that you're getting. Because I know, I mean, people like us will try, but we are still going to need new knowledge. I'm definitely going to have you back. It's been such an honor knowing you. Thank you for joining me today.
and
If you want to say, a
thank
parting word, like a summary for a mom that is struggling out there and, that really wants to be great in terms of, and you said something, you said, if you want to be a homemaker, because there was something I wanted us to touch on in sense that, on Instagram, Facebook, we celebrate these 100 most powerful women. And then you're on your phone looking at yourself and, your self-worth and your self-confidence just diminish that, was this babe not the same babe we went to secondary school? This babe we were in uni together now. Now she's 30 under 30, 40 under 40, 100 under 100. I mean,
you.
you know,
Ah,
and being able to be mindful and knowing who you are, and you did say that even if you want to be a homemaker, be the homemaker. And if you want to be a cleaner, be the cleaner. And it's just so amazing. So if you want to, just give a mom that is struggling out there, struggling to know their path, struggling with self-worth, self-confidence, trying to find themselves, what would be your parting word for that mom?
own your journey.
Mm,
Own your journey. Own it. This is my
mm,
journey. This is where I am. How can I better my life? How can I be great? How can I move from where I am to where I want to be? And
mm,
be consistent about those small baby steps and continue at them. Celebrate
mm,
your wins, celebrate yourself, own your journey. Owning your journey means that this is my life. I need to take charge of it. Nobody is going to take charge of it on your behalf. Own
wow.
your journey, no matter where you are. Don't. If someone told me 5 years ago that I'll be here today, I'll say go and dream again. It was not clear, but
Mm,
I just felt like yes, I was living in my sister's house. I was going through separation. I had a son. My salary was barely 100,000 when my mates were already earning double or triple of that. With they could pay their bills, but I was
mm,
there. I couldn't afford a house in Lagos. I sat there, but I said, okay, this is where I am, and
yeah,
I was very happy. At least I
you
focused on
were.
what was in my control. I was living my sister's house. At least, thank God, I had a place to live with my son, right? I focused on and that's gratitude. I honed my journey. I practiced gratitude and I focused on what I could change and leverage on. And I kept at it. I kept bettering myself, kept asking myself this question. And for every face I find myself, I say, oh, wow, so I could do this. Wow. Even now, as a business, the things I have done, I did not believe that I could do them last year.
Mm,
I'm telling you. So it's basically my life is progressive. So own your journey and keep going at it. I know in the next 1 year, I'll say, hey, God, so I can be here again. Wow. It is what it is. So if I tell you,
yeah.
oh, I want to be, blah, 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 I'm not even sure. You see, the truth is, I find myself where I find myself. All I just know is that my path and my life will continue to be greater. And I'll continue to be
Mm,
intentional. I'll continue to be progressive. I'll continue to grow and be phenomenal and excellent at it. Thank you very much.
yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, Yewande. It's been an honor to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, you can find her on
Yeah.
Instagram, Mom Care with Yewande. Okay. She may not be checking her IG every day, but she will definitely check her DM. And she has somebody managing it. If you have she consult high level consultations for mom. She has a lot on her plate now, but trust me, if you want to pay the right amount, she will make time for you.
Yes, I will. I like money.
You so
I
much.
do.
If you want some systems, I would just comment in the leave a comment down below if you want some systems that can help you with home management, and I will share you one day's Excel sheet on home management with you. So you can just comment home management in the comment section below, and I will share the link to download that for you. And if you also want a PDF of our conversation today, so that because a lot is there, and maybe you've been multitasking, preparing dinner for the family, preparing for school tomorrow, preparing for work. I've got you covered. Okay, so you can just type PDF in the comment section, and I will send you a link to a PDF summary of our conversation today. And if you also want to let me know your takeaway from today's session, just leave it in the comment section. If you have any question, leave it in the comment section, and we'll definitely respond in the live chat. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you like this video, please share with as many mothers, as many women out there. This was a loaded masterclass. Your life will never remain the same if only you will take action. And I don't just want you to spend 1 hour watching today's video and not taking action. I want you to take action within the next 1 hour. Go to Chat GPT. How can I be a phenomenal dash dash dash? How can I be a great dash dash dash? What do I need to be doing daily? What do I need to be doing weekly? What do I need to be doing monthly? And start taking action. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you next week. Bye.